Indonesia is mobile tech heaven with 43% of its over 200 million population using smartphones. The country is a hotbed for new and disruptive startup technology. Indeed, the startup scene in Indonesia is growing and investors have their eyes on it. Indonesia has been known as the largest Southeast Asia's online market. And since 2012, the country has successfully received startup tech funding from the emerging markets worldwide. So by the first graphic, better we see the trend as the years went by. This is startup tech funding in Indonesia from 2016 to 2019. In 2016, the number of funding in Indonesia startup reaching $1.2 million US. 2017, 1.3, and in 2019 the number was inclined significantly to $4 million US. But in 2019 the number of funding in Indonesia startup tech company decreased. In a big picture, the peak season for investors in 2018 didn't last really long. Until 2019, it dropped quite big. In 2019, there were only $2.4 million US in investment capital in Indonesia entering startups in Indonesia, down 40% from the previous year. This decrease is the first time since 2015, while the highest increase occurred in 2016, which reached 229% from only $358,000 US to $1.2 million US. However, there is a silver lining in startup technology investment climate. Even the funding is decreasing, but there are more investment deals. And to see how many investment deals in startup tech has been going on, let's see the next graphic. This is the number of startup tech investment deals in Indonesia in 2016, as much as 94 projects or deals. In 2017, 107. In 2018, 104. And in 2019, the number increased quite significant to the number of 131 investment deals. And ahead of the pack, as we see through the data, startup tech investment deals in Indonesia increased by 26% from 2018 to 2019. Previously, startup tech investment deals in Indonesia had decreased in 2018 by 3% from 107 in 2017. However, over the past 5 years, the highest deal growth occurred in 2015 to reach 107% of 46 to 94 agreements. Not only Indonesia, if we see the bigger picture, it is true that even Southeast Asia remained an attractive region for tech investors in present years. But total investment dropped from 2018 to 2019, according to a report by early-stage Singapore-based VC firm Cento Ventures. According to data analysis from the firm, there were fewer mega deals in the region. Without further ado, let's jump into the next graphic. This is startup tech total investment in Southeast Asia. In 2018, the value of startup tech total investment reached $12 billion US, but in 2019 it was decreased to $7.7 billion US. But then, since activity at earlier stages has increased, the drop in 2019 investment is likely due to less investment at later stages. However, the combination of ongoing fundraising from the current unicorns and the newer crop of tech businesses that are approaching late stages and raise larger rounds does provide the possibility for the upward trend to return in 2020. According to the data analysis from the firm, there was a significant increase in smaller deals worth less than $50 million US. The smaller deals set a new record of $2.4 billion US, up from $1.5 billion US in 2018. In contrast, the amount invested in larger rounds, which is about $50 million US, totaled $5.3 billion US in 2019. Major rounds mainly go for giant startups. There are two startups that have brilliant game plan and successfully attach investors to go extra miles for them. What are those? Let's see the next data. We have Gojek and Grab, of course. This is the total investment or investment in startup tech in Gojek, as much as $5.1 billion US. Meantime, for Grab, as much as 3.7 billion US dollar. The report takes into account funding for Grab and Gojek in the year when it was announced, as both companies have been going on multi-year fundraising initiatives. Southeast Asian countries have affordable access to have mobile devices. This factor is now shaping Southeast Asia into a fintech ecosystem. Especially with more than 260 million of the population, Indonesia's middle class is growing rapidly. This is allowing many Indonesian startups to venture primarily into e-commerce and ride-hailing markets. So no wonder that ride-hailing startup in Southeast Asia like Gojek and Grab have attracted many investors to chip in. And not only Gojek and Grab, in 2019 there are some startups that attract investors with larger rounds. Let's see what are those. This is other major tech firms with large investment rounds. We have Traveloka with the amount of investment value reaching 420 million US dollar. And after that, we've got Ruang Guru as much as 150 million US dollar. And as Commerce as much as 80 million US dollar. And the other one, 100 million US dollar. And as we see through the data, Indonesia continued to capture the majority of capital invested in the region. But sadly, its shares declined from 76% in 2018 to 59% in 2019. However, larger investment rounds of those startups are not only bolstered by the rise in venture capitalists' presence, but also government support for fintech startups to take advantage of. All of this in service of President Joko Widodo's ambition to turn Indonesia into the largest digital economy in Southeast Asia by 2020. But of course, not only government, but all stakeholders need to keep one's eye on the ball to keep Indonesian startup tech stand tall. Stay tuned on Market Headlines because we'll be right back after the break.